Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back with another episode of Quick and Easy, and in this one we are going to be taking a look at wireless redstone. Now you may be thinking, what is this magic, what is this wizardry, it can't be done? Well actually, it has been around for absolutely ages. People have been building wireless redstone for years. In fact, I did a video on it around about a year and a half ago, and I would suggest checking it out quite simply because it's very funny. Now on the screen you can see that we have got a selection of 3 different forms of wireless redstone. If you don't have much time today, then I would suggest clicking on one of those, but if you have got plenty of time to waste, then just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Just before we get into the main part of this video, I just want to say that we aren't going to be working too much with command blocks in this one, and that is because wireless redstone is incredibly easy when using command blocks. All you have to do is use the set block command, set your coordinates, and then set the block to redstone block, and as you can see, when we hit this button, our redstone block is spawned in. Now this block over here just sets the area around the redstone lamp to be air, so that clears it, and that means our output turns off. So here is the command, set block, and then the coordinates that you need, and then redstone block, and for the clearing, it is set block, the coordinates, and then air, and obviously that will clear all blocks. So the first design that we are going to be taking a look at in today's video uses hoppers, droppers, items, and gravity to create a transmission system that goes through thin air. Now it is quite simple. All you have to do is hit this button, you will see the item falls down, lands in the hopper, and then the hopper gives an output through this comparator, and our item ends up in the chest. Now there are a few flaws to this design. The first thing is it uses items, and obviously that means that at some point you are going to have to refill this dropper, but other than that, it only works vertically, which is a little bit of a limiting factor as well. But anyway, let's take a look at how you build this thing. It really is quite simple. So all you have to do is create an L shape like this, place a chest, and then your hopper running into that chest, a comparator, and that can run off to any kind of output. We are going to be using a redstone lamp just for demonstration purposes. Then at the top, it is just as easy. All you need is a dropper, and that is going to be facing into a tube. Now you don't need to use glass blocks for this, you can use anything, but I prefer the look of glass. I think it looks a lot nicer. But anyway, now you just have to fill up that dropper, place down your button, and you're ready to go. This second design isn't strictly wireless. It uses a tripwire instead of redstone wire, and I have to admit it is a lot less noticeable. You really aren't going to be seeing that from a far off distance, but anyway, it uses items being dispensed once again, and it works pretty nicely because this one is in a horizontal plane, which I often find is a lot more useful. Another good thing about this design is that it can be expanded. Obviously you have the 40 blocks given to you by the tripwire, but if that isn't long enough, then you just have to add in this little section here, this tiny little circuit that involves a redstone torch and a dropper, and then you just repeat the same thing again, and it will give you the exact same output. If we take a look over here, we hit this button, you will see that eventually the light at the end does come on. Now unfortunately, the timing, it takes a little while to get there, but really it isn't too much of a problem. So let's crack on with this tutorial. So you want to get things started with a block, and you are going to place a button or some form of input device on it, and then on top of that block you just want to place your dropper and put a bunch of items into that dropper there. Then on its face you just want to place your tripwire hook and carry out your line of string as far as you want to go. Now you have to remember the tripwires can only go for 40 blocks and then they stop working, which is a bit of a shame, but anyway, once you get to the end you just want to place a block like this and then another tripwire hook, and as you can see, when we press this button, your item will be dispensed. But there is an occasion, there are a few times at least, that the item can go off to one side, so to stop that from happening, you might want to place a block on either side of your tripwire hook, and that will prevent that. Now, if you have gone past 40 blocks and you need one of these repeaters, then all you have to do is place a redstone torch on the back of the block, and then a dropper facing in this direction, fill it up once again, a tripwire hook again on its face, and then a bunch of string off to the side with your glass blocks or any form of block on the side of that tripwire hook, and you just keep repeating that process until you reach the end, and then at the end you just place your block. Nice and easy. Now you may have noticed in this video that so far all of the wireless redstone shown has been a little bit cheaty, and by that I mean it uses items or it uses some form of tripwire hook. Well, we aren't going to be doing that for much longer, because now we are going to be taking a look at a fully functional wireless redstone transmitter. If we head over here and hit this button, you will see that our output turns off, and then when we go over to this side, our output turns back on. Now this is the video that I did around about 2 years ago, but it has had to have a few changes done to it, and that is due to changes in Minecraft updates. So the design that you see in front of you today is by a chap who goes by the name of CodeCrafted. I will put a link to his video in the description so that you can check it out for yourself, but now let's take a look at this tutorial. So you want to get things started with a 2x9 area. The first thing that we are going to be building is our comparator clock. So you just want to place down a comparator, set it to subtract mode, and run redstone round like this. And basically what that will do is just continuously lock itself, then unlock itself. And as you can see here, yeah, it does it pretty quickly. Then you just want to place 2 blocks along like this, place redstone dust on the top of those, a sticky piston, and then your iron bars. And these are a very important component. So then block next to that, your minecart is going to be on top here, but we aren't going to be placing that down just yet. So up the top here, you just want to go a couple blocks out like this and a couple blocks out like that to create a T shape, and take out all of these, place a tripwire hook here, a tripwire hook here, and then you want to place string in the middle. Then just behind this block here, you want to place a block with a repeater, set it to 2 ticks, and that is going to be running into your output, whatever that may be. I am going to be using a redstone lamp for demonstration purposes. But anyway, now we are going to place down our minecart, and this is where things get a little bit funky, so just hold on to your socks here. You want to create this sort of shape here, and place redstone power lines, whatever they are called, on top of them, and power them on. And then you want to grab a chest and place it over here, and take out that middle one, plonk down your minecart on the top and knock it down there, and as you can see, it falls down into the bottom. So now we can remove all of these things and all of the unnecessary blocks, head over to this side and place down a redstone torch to power your comparator, and you should see this thing start jumping up and down. Now for your sending part, I have to do a little bit of explaining, but it is a lot easier than this transmitter. So what you have to do is line yourself up with the iron bars. You can be as high or as low as possible, but you have to be in line with them. Then you go as far away as you want to and place 3 iron bars going across like this. Then you can take out all of those blocks. Now it doesn't matter if you do have blocks in between that and this, but I just prefer the look of it without the blocks. So now we should see that we have got these 3 iron bars here. That's all good. You've done that right. That is the first part of our sending area, but now you just want to place down a dispenser facing into those iron bars, and you want to repeat the same thing on the other side, and then you want to place a button on both of these dispensers here and put arrows into each one of the dispensers as well. Now here comes the moment of truth. When we hit this button, we should see that yes, our light turns off, and that is because an arrow has been fired into this right hand side. But if we go over to this side and hit this button, then you will see the light comes back on, and that is because an arrow has been fired into this left hand side, and that means that the minecart picks back up. When we fire it to this hand, then the minecart drops down, it is on the floor, it's not activating the tripwire. When we fire it to this side, it goes back up, working perfectly. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. So if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.